Hey everyone, this is Tom.
I'm Mark.
And today we have another episode of
Versus.
Today we have trick-taking games. We're going to have Diamonds versus Skull King. If you're not familiar with how to play, here's a real quick lesson on how to play. In Diamonds, it's a card game that's a trick-taking game, of course, and you're going to have cards that basically look like this with the same suits that we're all used to on a regular deck of cards. You're going to try to win as many diamonds as possible. You have a vault. You start off the game with 3 diamonds in front of the vault, and then you are basically following suit. There are no trumps in the suit. If somebody plays a spade, then you have to play a spade. If you do not happen to have a spade, you can play any of these other cards, right? So if you play a diamond, what you get to do is you get to take a diamond from the center and just place it on into your vault. If you play a heart out of turn because you don't have any, say they played spades and you played this because you have no spades, you then get to take a diamond from the middle and place it in front of your vault. The same goes here with clubs. You actually get to steal a diamond from another player and put it in front of your vault. And if they played a heart and you played a spade because you had no hearts, you get to take one of your diamonds in front and place it then into the back. At the end of the round, what you do is you count up how many cards you have, and you get to do those powers again. Whoever has the most spades gets to do the spades power, whoever has the most diamonds, etc., etc. And that's how you play the game. Skull King. It's a trick-taking game where you're going to have yellow, green, purple cards, and they're going to be numbered 1 through 14, 14 being the highest. And you're basically going to follow suit and take tricks based on that. But there is a trump suit, and the trump suit are the pirate flags. So if I play the 1 of trump, it's going to beat any of these numbers here. You also have mermaids, and mermaids are going to beat any of the pirate flags, which beat any of these cards. Oh, but you also have pirates, and pirates are going to beat the mermaid, which beats the trump, which beats any of those things. Oh, but you're also going to have the pirate king, which beats the pirate, but does not beat the mermaid. In fact, the mermaid beats the skull king. So if you don't have that, then you're going to have this beat this, which beats all of these. You're also going to have coins. Now, we just like to say that the coins are worth 20 points, but you actually go into an agreement with the person who gets these that you'll both get 20 points if you both win. You also have this, which is just, I'm going to throw this flag sailing away, bye-bye, and you're out of that round. But you also have this, the white whale. The white whale basically gets rid of all these face cards, and it just makes these worth the number. So whoever has the highest number and whoever played it first wins the trick. Oh, and finally you have the Kraken. If you play the Kraken, then it's all gone and that trick doesn't count. Crazy, I know. All right, so these are 2 games that I picked up and I'm quite happy with. I grew up playing a lot of trick-taking games. How about you?
Not so much trick-taking growing up. It wasn't until I was probably in my 20s where I started really playing trick-taking games more, with family and whatnot.
Growing up, my dad loved playing cards. He just absolutely loved playing cards. Spades, hearts, pinochle, all that. And then we found a new game that he taught us. It was... it goes by a lot of different names. Up and down the river, poop on your neighbor is what we used to call it, right?
I've heard of that.
And in that, you have trump, you have to follow suit, and you have to get your bid. And that's a lot like Skull King.
Yeah.
Right? So let's talk about Skull King first. Tell me what you like about Skull King.
What I really like about Skull King is that things can go sideways really, really quick. It has that bit of quirkiness to it, I would say, that just makes the game so much more enjoyable. It's not a normal trick-taking game because there's so much that could be going on. You got your pirates, you got your mermaids, you got all sorts of characters within this that can change the complexion of what's going on during the round. Really, really enjoy that element of it. I like the quirkiness of it.
I like the fact that, I don't know if my dad would like this. He loved card games, and he loved trick-taking games, and he loved playing Poop on Your Neighbor. But the fact that you have those cards that you just can't plan for, that might drive him crazy. But it's also what I really like about the game as well.
It's definitely not a traditional trick-taking game, I'll give you that much. I think if you are one of the people that play your traditional trick-taking games, you might not gravitate towards Skull King as much as maybe, let's say, Diamonds. That's just my opinion on it, take it or leave it. But to me, not being a person that grew up on trick-taking games, I find this to be extremely enjoyable.
Well, I did grow up on trick-taking games, and I love this game too, right? Because it does have that similar pattern. I mean, you play purple, right? That could be hearts or diamonds or whatever, right? It doesn't really matter. And I love the fact that there's a trump card. It's the pirate flag. It's not like random, like in some card games you flip over and you're like, oh, it's clubs this time. So I like that. And that right there, that's the card game that most people are familiar with. But then they throw in cards that beat trump, you know, such as the mermaid. And after the mermaid, you can throw in a pirate. And there's a lot of times that I'm like, well, I'm going to throw a pirate on this. I'm so excited. But then Mark throws a pirate in, and now my pirate's no good because it's the first pirate. Unless I got the Skull King, and then I could trump that, and I'm like, yeah, baby. But then someone throws in a mermaid on top of that, and
there is no supreme trump in this game, and that is what makes it so much enjoyable. Because you could be thinking, oh, I got it nailed. I got it nailed. I'm going to put this down, this Skull King down. And then, lo and behold, you lost.
I was playing this, and it came down to the 10th round, and it looked like I was going to win the game. All I had to do is just get one more for my bid, and that it was it. It was over. And then our buddy Auburn plays the Kraken, kills the round, and I'm like, I needed that to, and that was it. The game was over.
You get nothing.
That's right. I think I actually got negative points. It was a bummer, right? You know what I love? I love this. Surrender flag. If I get a handful of surrender flags, I'm going to go 0 on that.
Oh, yeah.
What do you like about that mechanic where if you say 0, you get whatever it is?
I love that about it. Because if you're looking at what you got and you're like, there's no way I'm going to get X amount, I got to try to lose, basically. I would honestly say 2/3 of the times that I played Skull King, the people that won were the ones that did that strategically. They played 0.
I know the first few times I played this, everybody's trying to make their bids, everybody's trying to get stuff, and then it dawned on everybody. It was like a light bulb went off. Wait a second. Why don't we just go 0? And it changed the dynamic. Once everybody's starting to get 0, and only a few people are thinking, okay, because it's not that hard. It's not that hard to pawn off a pirate as long as somebody else has a pirate, and if they're going for points. If there's somebody in your group that's going for it and said, I'm in 5, I've been 4, whatever, I'm like, oh, thank you very much. I'm going to pawn off my stuff.
Exactly.
We've actually played with one of our students, and he is the ultimate 0.
Oh, that's all he does. That's all he does.
I've seen him pawn off the Skull King.
Yeah.
And that's like, how? How would you do that? You have to rely upon a mermaid coming up and being able to throw this out at the right time. And yet he has done it more times than not.
It's an insane thing to do.
Amazing
it
skill.
is, but it was amazing for him to pull that off, that's for sure.
All right, so it sounds like we both like Skull King.
Yeah, really like
now let's go on to Diamonds. Now, Diamonds is a little bit, I'm going to say a little bit more traditional.
I agree.
For trick-taking, but it's got that element of that each one of the different type of suits has a power, and I do like that. I mean, I have not played a game like that where if you win with your certain type of suit, you get some sort of power.
Right.
I think that's really cool, but what I really love about it is if I'm short in clubs and you're leading in clubs, I'm going to throw a diamond out because that's an instant point for me.
See, when you play a traditional suit or a game like that, trick-taking game, and you get the bad cards, often you're like, oh, I'm screwed. That this is going to be a really, really bad round. But that mechanic where you're going to get something for getting rid of the garbage, basically,
Yeah.
just adds a better element to it. And you have to be more strategic about the choices that you make of when you lay those cards down, because you might end up having nothing in the front. And if you have nothing in the front and
you're playing a spade,
and
you're like,
yeah,
I can't.
You have nothing there. You have nothing there. So yeah, you have the advantage of trying to get as many tricks as possible. So you have to have the cards so you can play those powers at the end of the round. But having that opportunity to strategically make decisions on which cards to play, just if you have the garbage, so that you can make decisions for yourself, really adds a layer of depth to the game.
And I like how at the start of a new round, you have all your cards, and you decide, am I going to throw one, two, or three away, depending on whoever's leading it, they get to say, right, 1, 2, or 3. And you can try to shortchange yourself. You're like, you know what?
Yeah.
I have 3 hearts. I might as well throw all the hearts away, and this way I can start to manipulate, right? You want to build up. You want to build up as much diamonds as you can, because when you get those spades, you know, you can take it and blink all the time. Because I don't know how many times I've done something where I'm like, I don't. Or you play a club and you get to steal and nobody has anything.
Or another thing to think about too on the drafting component you're talking about is keeping the lower value cards. That might play in your advantage too. If you can keep certain garbage that you can just collect on. You know what I mean? So if I can put down a 4 or a 3, you know, knowing that other people will play the higher cards, you know that you possibly can use that power right away. You know,
well, if
you're not going to win the tricks.
As
long as it's off suit. Yeah, but you're not going to win the tricks. True, but at least you're going to be making some headway through the game.
Yeah, well, that's why I'm always trying to shortchange myself in 1 or 2 suits if I can possibly. Because this is really where a lot of action is. Because you're like, oh, this hand's garbage, but if I can get rid of a suit, that means everybody else hopefully has all these different diamonds or whatever. But if you're loaded up for diamonds, that's nice, because that's just a blink every time, right? So it definitely has a lot of different strategy in it. I love at the very end, everybody's counting up, I got 5 clubs. Oh, yeah, I got to take the club action again. And so I think that's kind of a neat mechanic. And you play a certain amount of rounds to get a certain amount of points. So there you go. I think that pretty much says that we both like each game.
I like both games, yes.
But, and this is what it comes down to in Versus, which one, if you were given a choice, you had to play just one, which one is the winner?
For me personally, I take Skull King. I really love, like I said, I love the quirkiness of the game. Anything can happen at any time. Though it might not be a traditional trick-taking type of game, I just feel that when you get that down at the table, you are going to definitely have a blast. That's my feeling. Diamonds is a great game too. I'm not downgrading Diamonds whatsoever. I'm just talking about preference. I like having those situations at the table where people just laugh and crack up about a decision that was made or something like that. How many times has that happened?
I have never played Skull Kings where we are not going, what
in the world just happened?
And clapping, you know?
Yeah.
It's definitely
it's more exciting
game. It's a pretty exciting game. Oh yeah, you're going to have those moments, and no one's going to have that with diamonds. Like, oh my goodness, a diamond!
Right.
It plays differently. I would say though that is a traditional game, and then a little chaos added onto it.
Okay, yeah, I can say that. Yeah,
right?
To me, when I think of traditional trick-taking games, I don't think of chaos at all.
Right. Well, yeah. The chaos is usually.
Whereas with Diamonds, that feels more like a traditional trick-taking game with a little bit of zip.
And so that is why I'm actually going against you on this one. I'm going to say Diamonds. If I'm given a choice. And honestly, it depends on the crowd as well. Because if it's you and Auburn and a bunch of the guys that, and we're going to play some Skull King, I'm going to have a good time, right? That's a guarantee. But if I'm going to sit down with my family or with my mom especially, because I actually played both with my mom and she's going to prefer Diamonds too. My brother's going to prefer Diamonds. Because it does have that more traditional, that more familiar less chaotic game, but it adds to the interest because of all the special powers that you get to do, and it just seems like, wow, I'm given so many choices in this game that that's what I really like about it. Because traditional card game with trick taking and all these other choices try to manipulate stuff so that at the very end you get the most points.
Yeah, I could definitely see where you're going there with the with who you're playing with, the crowd. My wife's family, they play traditional cards. They like to play a lot of trick-taking games up in Kentucky whenever I visit them. I really wouldn't see them playing Skull King, so I can see what you mean by that.
Sure.
But I would see them playing Diamonds, simply because the familiarity and the similarity with the traditional type of trick-taking game. But you have that little extra element that makes it a little bit more exciting and not the same old type.
Sure,
game.
sure. But if it's Friday night game night,
Yes,
you have to
yeah,
choose
yeah.
Skull King for you.
Yeah.
And for me, depending on the audience, Diamonds probably. But if I'm with you, I'm
Yeah.
going to do Skull King.
Yeah.
Right?
I mean, I'd play either.
Yeah, it's going to be fun, no matter what.
Yeah.
So it looks like we got a tie.
Yeah, I got a tie here.
Thanks for watching. We'll see you on our next episode of Versus. And if there's still time, don't forget to click the link below for Day of Games, which is coming November 4th in Central Florida. You can click the link and find out more on the webpage. Thanks.
Thanks.